Welcome to the Energy Star Multifamily New Construction Program online orientation for energy modelers supporting projects pursuing the Ashrae certification path. In this orientation, we will begin with a brief overview of the Energy Star Multifamily New Construction Program, including the types of buildings that are eligible and the implementation timeline of this program. While there are 3 certification paths, this orientation is specific to the Ashrae Path, so it will focus on the Ashrae 90.1 based performance target options and supporting documents that are available in this path. We will also discuss how some mandatory requirements may impact the proposed design energy model, and we will present the steps of the submittal process. So to begin, the Energy Star residential branch oversees 2 new construction building certification programs. The Certified Homes program serves single-family homes, such as detached homes, 2-family dwellings, such as side-by-side duplexes or 1/1s, and townhomes. The Multifamily program serves most other attached housing, including townhomes with some modifications and mixed-use buildings, if more than 50% is residential. While residential in nature, the Energy Star Multifamily New Construction Program does not certify units in hotels, dorms, skilled nursing, or assisted living facilities. Those property types are served by Energy Star's commercial branch. This decision tree is located on our website and more easily assists program partners in determining which Energy Star new construction program is the right one for their building. Since you are seeking to be listed in our online directory of Ashrae Path modelers, we'll assume your project has already determined that the right fit is the Energy Star Multifamily New Construction Program. If you previously certified multifamily units through the Certified Homes program or the Multifamily High-Rise program, you may not be familiar with the Multifamily New Construction Program. It was developed in 2018 to provide a more streamlined option for multifamily projects. It was launched in early 2019 and made available for optional use during a 2-year transition period. While projects may still certify through the Certified Homes or Multifamily High-Rise program if they are permitted before 2021, buildings with permit dates after January 1st, 2021 will only be allowed to certify their units through the Multifamily New Construction Program. The Multifamily New Construction Program was developed with similar components as the previous Certified Homes and Multifamily High-Rise programs. There's a performance target that must be achieved, as well as mandatory features, field verification, and oversight by an EPA-approved third party. This orientation focuses on the Ashrae Path, which is one of the 3 certification path options project teams can choose from. The Ashrae Path allows project teams to demonstrate that the building design can achieve 15% cost savings above the commercial code adopted by the state by using whole building energy modeling. The modeling must be done in accordance with the performance rating method outlined in Ashrae 90.1 Appendix G and as supplemented by Energy Star's simulation guidelines. For projects in California, the whole building savings are instead 10% above Title 24. And while the scope of Ashrae 90.1 excludes low-rise buildings, the Energy Star Multifamily New Construction Program will permit low-rise projects to follow the Ashrae Path. They follow the same modeling rules as high-rise buildings, with the exception that the baseline building envelope must be assumed to be wood-framed rather than steel-framed. To determine the performance target options available for your project, use this table to first identify the commercial code that has been adopted in the state where the project will be built. If the state will be adopting a new code before the project is permitted, be sure to select the code that will apply to the project at the time of permitting. Depending on the code adopted by the state, you may have a few options to choose from. This flexibility was developed to support projects that may be participating in multiple building performance programs, which could be based on different Ashrae standards. Let's review the 3 footnotes. Footnote 1 states that Appendix G from the referenced Ashrae standard or from Ashrae 90.1 2016 may be used. For example, in a state where 2009 IECC is in effect, you can choose to model in accordance with Appendix G from Ashrae 90.1 2007 and achieve 15% savings, or you can use the methodology in Appendix G from Ashrae 90.1 2016 and instead select appropriate building performance factors to demonstrate 15% savings above Ashrae 90.1 2007. As mentioned before, to reduce the burden of applying 2 different codes to a given project, 2012 IECC projects are allowed to use an alternate performance target of 20% savings over Ashrae 90.1 2007 instead of 15% savings over Ashrae 90.1 2010. 2015 IECC projects are allowed to use an alternate performance target of either 25% savings over Ashrae 90.1 2007 or 20% savings over Ashrae 90.1 2010. Footnote 2 clarifies that these performance target options may not be used for projects using Appendix G from Ashrae 90.1 2016. And finally, footnote 3 states that Appendix G from Ashrae 90.1 2016 must be used. A 2015 IECC project can model 15% savings above Ashrae 90.1 2013. However, they cannot use Appendix G from 90.1 2013. They will instead need to use the 2013 building performance factors in conjunction with Appendix G of Ashrae 90.1 2016. For future reference, this table and the footnotes are also available on our website. While many of you are already familiar with Ashrae 90.1, the Energy Star Multifamily New Construction Program has some additional supporting documents that are required. The first is an Excel-based tool called the Multifamily Workbook. This includes some worksheets that you, as the energy modeler, may not need to complete, but there are some worksheets where you or another team member will need to document items like the equipment schedule and assembly U-factor calculations. The second document is the Energy Star Simulation Guidelines. This has supplementary instructions to Appendix G, specific to multifamily, with a few deviations from Appendix G. The third document is an Excel-based tool called the Performance Path Calculator. These worksheets will aid you in documenting and calculating inputs needed for the energy model that are in compliance with the simulation guidelines. They also include a reporting summary to document building performance in comparison to the baseline. There are 2 versions of these last 2 files, one version for projects following Appendix G from Ashrae 90.1 2016, and another version for prior years of Appendix G. While there's flexibility in achieving the performance target, the Multifamily New Construction Program does have some mandatory requirements that can impact the energy model. While we won't review all the mandatory requirements in these 5 program documents, we do want to call your attention to a few items that are slightly different for Ashrae Path projects. In the Rater Design Review Checklist, you will see a few requirements that will say ERI or Ashrae or prescriptive. These are showing you that the requirements change based on which path was chosen. While the project team might be aware of these requirements and will design accordingly, it is part of this orientation so that you are also aware as the energy modeler. The items that change in the design review checklist are related to minimum performance for fenestration and insulation. Fenestration in dwelling units must meet 2009 IECC residential code requirements, whereas common area fenestration must meet the requirements in the commercial provisions. Insulation for both areas of the building must meet the requirements in the commercial code, regardless of whether the building is permitted to residential or commercial code. The main difference for Ashrae Path projects in the Rater Field Checklist is related to common area lighting. Since the common areas are modeled in this path, the mandatory lighting requirements in those spaces are a little less stringent compared to the other certification paths. Before we conclude this orientation, we want to review a part of the last component of the program, which is oversight. Project teams can select from a list of approved multifamily review organizations, MROs, which are listed on the Energy Star website. The MRO is responsible for reviewing Ashrae project submittals and conducting random field-based quality assurance visits. While the MROs have some flexibility, in general, the proposed design submittal is submitted prior to construction and includes Excel-based performance path calculator and multifamily workbook mentioned before, as well as construction documents and either actual modeling files or input-output files associated with the energy model. These documents are reviewed for program compliance to ensure the performance target option chosen is correct for the project location and that the required savings have been demonstrated by the energy model. At the end of construction, the as-built submittal is reviewed by the MRO. This includes much of the same documentation submitted above, but revised to match as-built conditions, and will additionally include photo documentation of the energy efficient measures. That concludes the Ashrae Modeler orientation. We hope you have a better understanding of the multifamily new construction program and how Ashrae energy models can be used to certify multifamily buildings in this program. If you have any questions, please email us at the address below, EnergyStarHomes@energystar.gov. You will soon be listed in our online directory as an Ashrae modeler that is able to participate in this program. Thank you for your interest in the Energy Star Multifamily New Construction Program and for your attention during this orientation.